Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to support this motion. Honorable Speaker, right from the outset, I would like to lay out some of the facts in view of how the Kenyan government has supported, or rather has put support to education in perspective. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution of this country clearly specifies that the right to education is a basic right to the children of this country. And I would like to cite some of the very specific citations from this Constitution. Article 6, Honorable Speaker, of the Constitution, basically, Article 2, subsection 6 of the Constitution of Kenya ratifies most of the international treaties to protect the right to basic education, which now forms the fundamental Kenyan law. Honorable Speaker, the African Charter for the Right and Welfare of the Child also emphasizes on right to education. The United Nations International Convention on Social and Economic Rights also clearly speaks to the right to education. Honorable Speaker, the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, specifically Article 28, 29, and 30, talk about education. Our own Constitution, Article 53, Section 1, subsection B, states that every child has a right to free and compulsory basic education. Specifically also, Article 43 refers to the right to education generally, while Article 55A states that the state shall take the measures, including affirmative action programs, to ensure that the youth access the relevant education and also training. And I would like also to Honorable Speaker, to bring the House to the light of Article 27, 1, 2, and 3, which basically Article 27, 1 of the Constitution gives the equal benefit of all law, of the law to every person. 27, 2 articulates the full and equal enjoyment of the rights to the fundamental freedoms, and subsection 4, not 3, prohibits the state to discriminate directly or indirectly against any person. I want to base my support to this particular motion, Honorable Speaker, on this issue of discrimination. Honorable Speaker, a right delayed is basically a right denied. And in this particular case, let me say that a right mismanaged is also a right denied to the Kenyan child. I want to thank Honorable Bok for this particular motion, as I support it. And I wish, just as the other members have spoken to it, that it came as a bill. Honorable Speaker, allocation of infrastructure resources at the level of 70% to day secondary schools is about what we need. In fact, Honorable Speaker, what is happening right now, especially at our national schools, is appalling. The government has made a decision, a policy decision, to open up day classrooms in national schools. What basically we are doing is opening up the world to national schools. And what that is likely to bring in is a lot of interference of the school management systems with the outside world. This expansion of schools has led to schools having schools within schools. What am I talking about? Honorable Speaker, some of the main big, rather renowned national schools in this country have more than 1,500 children. With more than 1,500 children, it means you have 4 schools in one. No wonder a school like Alliance Boys, Alliance Girls, Mangu, and the others have got principals at every level of schooling. They have a principal for Form 1, a principal for Form 2, a principal for Form 3, and a principal for Form 4, and then a general principal. Honorable Speaker, this management system is failing in the sense that we are expanding the institutions we have when we can grow other institutions. Africa is one of the one of the continents, or rather is a leading as a continent in terms of the age of our children, of our population. We are leading in terms of population, in terms of the young population. That being the case, we should be more strategic into developing these institutions to match the other institutions that were developed in the past. We should not only dwell in expanding the institutions that we have beyond the capacity. One of the questions that we should be belaboring with is, at what point in time should we say Alliance Boys High School, Alliance Girls High School, or Mangu, or the other national schools have reached maximum expansion levels? Honorable Speaker, this motion could not have come at a better time. It clearly stipulates that if it is possible, it is necessary to urge the government to allocate 70% of the resources on infrastructure to day secondary schools. Honorable Speaker, Last year's results clearly spoke to the fact that the day secondary schools are also capable of producing quality grades. There is this boy who was in a day secondary school and got an A-. Honorable Speaker, if I may display the situation at day secondary schools, most of them, you realize most of the day secondary schools do not have enough facilities, they do not have enough classrooms, they do not have laboratories, they do not have the dormitories. Of course, they don't. The students, they do not sleep there. These day secondary schools, the dining halls, in some cases, are not there. And the little money that there is, we are allocating as members of parliament from the national government CDF is not enough for us to build this infrastructure. It will therefore take a long time for us to be able to develop these institutions to the level where the other institutions are. What I'm trying to say, Honorable Speaker, is that there is need for us to look as a country on how do we develop these other institutions to match the national schools and the extra county schools. And why should we develop these institutions? Honorable Speaker, the curriculum is the same. There is no curriculum for day secondary schools, there is no curriculum for national schools and extra county schools. It's the same curriculum. Honorable Speaker, the examination is the same. So the approach to teaching should also be the same. We should be able to have schools that are standard. We should have come up with a minimum standard of our secondary school in Kenya, a minimum standard for our primary school in Kenya, and develop all schools to match that standard so that all our children will be fairly treated. And therefore, we shall be able to attest to delivering the rights that have been articulated so well in most of the documents that I've referred to, the international documents that we have signed to, and also the Kenyan Constitution, which basically specifies that we should not discriminate against children. Honorable Speaker, the government's capitation that is given to secondary schools, as somebody said, is very little. What I know, Honorable Speaker, is that this money is calculated against the number of students within the Kenyan standing population. If it is calculated against the number of students, we know there are students in private schools who do not benefit from this money. The question is, where does their money go? And at this point in time, Honorable Speaker, I'm wondering, why are private secondary schools also not benefiting from capitation and they are Kenyan children? Honorable Speaker, I believe, since they are Kenyan children, and we should not deny them the right to benefit from the government support, I think this money should be better managed. Honorable Speaker, it has been alluded on this floor that 1.6 billion budget is been allocated to the Ministry for disbursement. If this is the case, how is this money followed up to ensure that it is put into proper use? Honorable Speaker, since most of the systems are standardized, examinations are standardized, schools therefore should be standardized. If people are taking science subjects and they do not have laboratories, they should not do the same exam with those who have laboratories they can go to at any time in their life in school. Therefore, we should be able to quickly invest in these schools to ensure that we have facilities and infrastructures that match the quality of education that we want to produce. Honorable Speaker, if a child goes to a day secondary schools, it's like that child is already condemned to failing. If we condemn our own children to failing, and we have realized and they have shown us they can actually get A-. Getting an A- from a day secondary school means that even day secondary school students also can pass these exams. So we need to look at how do we manage this particular process of standardization. And Honorable Speaker, I would like to propose that we have these schools improved. Honorable Speaker, I would like to allude to the fact that failure to take into consideration of the contribution of these schools, where the greater majority of the poor children go, is like perpetuating or is like sustaining poverty. If we are able to bring this to give these children hope and enable them therefore to attend the school where they can have equal possibilities of passing examinations, then we will be able to say that we are developing the Kenyan children in a standard way and giving all of them equal rights to education. Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Shall we have Honorable